Hello and welcome to Conscious Gatherers. My name is Beverly Thompson, and
I'm AJ Royce.
welcome to tonight's episode is 144. This is our sixth season, and today's date is April the 15th, 2025.
To display for you right here, but here is this way. When the Night Comes Creeping. This is it was published in 2014. Uh, it's really the story of what woke me up spiritually and how the story just kept on going. When that sort of thing gets started, it doesn't stop. It never does. And you keep learning more and more. Like Bev said, we learn more about ourselves. That's what the name of the game is. And so that one is the story of spiritual awakening.
Do you mind if I break you on? Because
Go ahead.
I've read it more than once and I'm going through it again. And it's really quite the story. It's very personal to you. Yet a lot of the information in there and how you've come to some of the conclusion of some of your experiences, which is still happening, by the way, that it's, I think, very well written. You can tell it's from the heart, and just an exciting journey. Even as, what is it? When the night comes creeping, and it's not scary whatsoever.
No, even though there are some scary things that happened, when I was hit in the face with something, I saw it for what it was and learned about it, and therefore learned about myself and my own reactions. And, we just keep learning about ourselves.
Right.
So, and the next book is Walking into the Eye of God. If you like sacred geometry, you might enjoy this one.
Open it up just to show you some of your drawings.
Oh, it's just it's hard to do this.
You might get closer to the screen.
Yeah.
Oops. Yeah.
Yeah. There's just all kinds of things in here. I see the world kind of like through the eyes of geometry. I always have. See how things connect, and one thing leads to another, one thing grows off of another. So this is my own take on sacred geometry. It's just sort of what's been brewing inside of me, and I'm currently working on another book on sacred geometry, and it's going really, really deep. But I think that people will get a lot out of it because it explains it in a way that I haven't seen others explain it. Maybe they have, but I don't really study other people's works on it. I write from what is revealed inside of myself. And the artwork that I do is, excuse me, very geometrically based. Some of it looks organic, some of it looks kind of sci-fi, but all of it stems from geometry. So, and that will be made available
someday.
Yeah, someday. There's you have to deal with website things and all of that kind of thing, and that's not my forte. My forte is creating the works. And so, if there's somebody out there that really knows their business and could help give me some hints along the way, that would be really great. So that's my story.
Good. You got it out there. All right. I too am an author, and I've written 3 books, working on my 4th, and various other things I do in my life. I have a creative side. Well, I've been an interior designer for over 50 years. I really hate to say it that way. No, I don't hate to say it like that way, but it's like, whoa. And so I still do that on occasion. I have a few clients that I like to work with, and they done a lot of things for them, and so I know them really well. So it's really making them comfortable in their own homes.
You do beautiful work.
Well, thank you. Thank you. My books are channeled, and they started in, I think, '02 or '03, well, '02, 2000. And the first book is this one right here, Mystery of the Universes, A Prophecy Fulfilled. I realized I wrote my own prophecy, which I didn't realize until later, because I'm like, what's this mean? And then I went, oh. And so I'm still realizing that a lot of the things I've written about, I've been participating in this, not only this life, but in other lifetimes, which we're going to get into a little bit today about our merging timelines and merging lives. My second book, by the way, each book has 80 writings in it. And each writing, it's only, they're usually only a page to 4 pages long. They're short, but it's one that I would say the books are to be more studied. Yeah, it's not that easy reading.
Well, it's so chock full of information.
Yeah, awful lot of information, and it's to take it in. Okay, what does this mean? And I still have lots of questions, and they keep coming. And well, first of all, this is my third book, and again another 80 writings, so total of 3 books of 80 writings. So it's really been an interesting adventure for me to get these out. And in fact, I think Royce, you might have been the first one to tell me that I was going to write books. And I'm like, what? I don't know how to write. And did not know how it was going to come about. And then one day it did. And I went, oh. And then realized how channeled each of them are. And I'm a little more active present in many of my channelings now. If you call them channelings, I like to really call them insights, because it's our we're really working with, for the most of the time, with our higher selves. And in other times we do have other galactics or whatever that come in and then give us some information, which we will do that in just a few minutes, because we did have somebody that came in today, and we have almost every podcast day we usually have somebody that does show up. So it's really been an interesting ride there, if you want to call it a ride, but just a lot more information. So regarding my fourth book, I have no idea when it's going to be done, because just collecting all the information, and then I'm going to decipher the information and try to put it together where it's more understandable. And I know more stuff will come through as I do this. So now that I'm getting a little more relaxed into it, but it's still an awful lot of work. And even though it's interesting, and I need to be focused when I do it, otherwise, it doesn't stay with you, at least for me. So I have to be ready to do it and totally into it.
Yeah.
So I'm still into getting all my writings together, and I have different categories set up. So we'll have to see how this goes. For instance, one's on timelines, one's going to be on the Earth or Gaia, another one on humanity, some miscellaneous. So it might be the pyramids, it may be Egypt, because both of us went to Egypt in '99, and then a lot of the information that started actually before then, but really not too far before we went to Egypt in '99, and then all this information keeps coming. So it's been quite a road. So anyway, we welcome you. So what we talk about, you take in what you feel is best for you. Again, we're sharing. We can't say this is the absolute truth, but we do give what we share, what we get. We use the term get, but what we hear within
internally.
Ourselves. Yeah. So telepathic communication. So it's really up in, or being a higher self, it is you. So it's already within you. So you want to add to that?
I don't know that I could add anything to that. It's pretty well said.
It's us. All right. You ready? You want to start out what we talked about? about the moon uncloaking itself.
Yeah.
um,
And that was today that we saw this. So
yes.
we don't know what time frame it's going to play out in, but it's what we saw today.
But we saw, like we get together every 2 weeks. So, like last 2 weeks ago, we talked about Antarctica, and I'm thinking, well, are we going to get any more information on that? And not right now, even though there's a lot of people that have reported on Antarctica who have been there and seen things. And then a lot of other people have done it intuitively, like we have.
Yeah, same things like structures as well as living beings,
Yeah.
not necessarily human.
Yeah, like last time, I think we saw the suckers. So, did you see their fingers? And there were suckers on their fingers, and they were climbing up walls. And I'm like, okay. so, so I don't know if anybody else has seen this with their physical eyes or in their telepathic communication or clairvoyance or sentience, all of that. So I don't know. So if you have, speak up. So and share with us all, so we all learn about some of these beings that are sharing this earth with us. All right, back to the moon. You ready to go with that one?
Sure.
Okay, do you want to start?
Well, what you saw at first, the moon, there was like the crust was cracking irregularly straight down the middle.
Yeah. So it's like an egg cracking. So it wasn't a straight line, but it was jagged, and it just cracked. I'm like, whoa! And it looked I'm going to call it a shell only because it kind of reminded me of an egg.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a smooth surface. It was bumpy, for lack of a better term. And it looked very white to me, even though I think the moon is not quite so white when we get a camera up there. But that's the way I saw it today.
Reflectivity.
Yeah. So I noticed that it cracked, excuse me, vertically. Now, from my purview, so the way I could see it. So, is that north to south that you would term the moon? I'm guessing yes, because of the way I saw it. So,
in relation to the Earth.
Yeah, yeah. Then it's like that shell. Again, I'm calling it a shell. It separated out from what was inside. And she says, "You mean it's uncloaking the ship?" I said, "Yeah."
but the crust or the shell or whatever you want to call it broke up into many pieces, millions of pieces, and then it's kind of like it was pulled up to the top, up beyond the moon, and then transmuted is what I would call it, transmuted into energy.
Yeah, and that line that as it went around the moon and then up like this, the energy just came straight down on top of the moon, or what I would term the North Pole, just shot down. It was kind of a bluish white color, and it was like boom. And you had said that it was fuel.
Yeah, and transmuting what came off of it into fuel.
Yeah, that fuel for the ship. Now that to me, the ship, was round, or spherical, and it was. I could see kind of a greenish color on it, and almost like a reddish brown color. I don't know. Did you see any other colors on there?
Mm-mm.
Like the skin of it, and it was alive. Like the skin was alive. I mean, I kind of felt. I used the word gelatinous. I can't say that it was gelatinous, but I could tell it was not. It didn't look like a hard shell, even though it may have been, but it looked like it was softer. How do you explain this?
Yeah.
Yeah. So uh, yeah, any other information on that? You know,
Um, well, there were some beings that were being uh, ousted.
oh, oh yeah. Okay. Um, by the way, when this is going to happen, you know,
We don't know.
we don't know. You know, is it happening now? Did it happen? Is it going to happen? Because we got the merging timelines, which we talked about before, but we're going to talk about how that has affected us in just a bit. But going back to what you're saying, these beings, um, yeah, there's been some more nefarious beings that have lived on the moon, and probably our military's been there. I think that's obvious.
Yeah.
Maybe not to everybody listening to this, but it's like, oh yeah, we're already there, and we have been there for a long, long time and have had bases. There's a lot of people that have reported being on the bases on the moon. So, like, yeah, I'm telepathically, I've seen it, or you know, you've seen it. So yeah, so that's interesting. But there's been some other beings that have been there, such the reptilians, that sort of thing. And you want to explain what you saw?
Well, their time uh, was coming to a close, being there, not being allowed to stay there any longer. And there, you saw a black box
Mm-hmm.
that was filled with circuits, and these the reptilians were kind of like of a hive mind. They were tied in with this black box, and so I think that's about all we can say about that. But they were being removed.
They're being removed. Yeah, I know this sounds really out there, but it's the way it is.
Hey, life is like science fiction anymore.
It's like absolutely amazing. Well, I felt that a wire was going to be pulled on the box, but I think the box was taken off the earth, and then the beings that were still there became confused because they were so attached to this box, or this energy that this box emitted, that they weren't sure what to do.
But they were taken off as well, along with the box.
We could see a ship, one of their ships, coming down, but the energy of that ship did not. I can't use the word.
It was
match.
being repelled away from the moon because, well, what we call the moon, which is the ship that was there.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll call it moonship, I guess. But it was being repelled away from it because, I guess, the dissimilarity of energies.
That's a good way to put it. Good way to put it.
Yeah.
And so, and so the ship had to move off, and then the beings were expelled. So it's like, okay, what does that do with Earth and our tides and our seasons and all that?
So what does it leave us with? It leaves us with still a massive ship there. So I would imagine that the forces that work with the Earth, the gravitational fields and all, would be relatively the same. Maybe a little bit of change. I don't know. We didn't see that part. But there's still this massive ship in place, but no longer cloaked in something that wasn't its own skin. It had shed that.
So it's like, okay.
So talk about disclosure. Surprise.
Yeah. Like, okay. So, yeah. Well, it was interesting that when we first started seeing the moon, one of the females from the Ashtar Command Center, it seems like that portal actually that we see, it opens up, and then she came in. Now, that be etherically,
Yeah.
So but she came in and she could holographically project in front of her. And if I went, and so we could see a moon, and she kept doing this.
Yeah,
Like,
she was by what she was projecting in front of her, that's how she was communicating with us. She wasn't using words.
yeah, and then we'd ask and didn't get an answer. Well, if we waited long enough, then we could see it. So we can see why she did not respond. It's like, be patient.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Yeah, watch it unfold.
So we did. So it was like, whoa. Um, Talking about holographic projection, it did happen a few, I don't know how long ago, a while back. And somebody came in, another galactic came in and was talking with us and doing some holographic projections for us in an ethereal sense. Okay. And, does this sound familiar to you? Excuse me. And it's like, but I do remember saying, you're going to be able to do the same thing. So it's like, that's pretty cool. So, it tells you, how, what incredible beings we truly are.
Yeah, in my book, When the Night Comes Creeping, I was on board a ship and I was shown a huge holographic projection. I saw what looked like the Earth and a debris field off to the side. But what caught my attention was something heading toward the Earth, and it was glowing a reddish orange, and got the word Jeopardy. Now this was back in the 90s, the late 90s. And so, I was like, what in the world am I being shown here? But in the book, I was just, surmising that, well, on any given day, that could happen with us. So what are we doing about that? Are we truly living, or are we just existing on this beautiful planet? So it kind of helps you to put things into perspective when you see that it could all be taken away at any given moment.
However,
I don't
not
think
to scare you.
it's not gonna happen, I don't think.
I don't see it happening at all. So maybe back in the 90s when we, depends what reality you're looking at. So yeah, I don't see it happening. So don't let that scare you. I honestly don't see it happening.
No, I don't
Yeah.
I don't either,
Okay.
because we've progressed a long ways since then. And
Mhm.
we have progressed not only in consciousness but with our technologies. And if you think we don't have some pretty far out there technologies, then you're highly mistaken. We have capabilities coming out the wazoo that you just would not believe. So we've got some things going on technologically, and the only thing that we have perhaps blocking the way is ourselves. So with having the ability of technologies comes the wherewithal to use it rightly. So as long as we keep our consciousness going forward and upward, we'll do okay.
I think we're doing good.
Yeah.
All right, which takes us into, excuse me, an insight that I received, and then I'll share that with you first, and then Royce, you're next. I did get the word coddled. I'm like, have we been coddled? And that's what I got out of that. Like, we've been coddled, and a lot of people say we've been lied to. Well, you even got that information. We've been lied to. Like, okay, we're who we are, all of that, and it's one reason why we're out here. It's like, where we're doing these podcasts.
Yeah.
It's like, time to wake up, guys.
Yeah, wake up.
All right, I'm going to go ahead with the insight. Okay, we are becoming masters of our own making. It is easy to point the finger at another for any incongruences in one's life, But how does that serve you? Not me, not me, not me. Then I heard, oh, yes, you. So mankind is evolving. Soon there will be no finger pointing except at self. That whole old facade is dropping away. The world is becoming a beacon of understanding in its purest form, a beacon as the old control system is being dismantled for the new to rise up. Understanding your full potential takes time, yet time is also changing. That's the spigot is almost on full force and can be turned down if that is what you desire. Be assured the spigot will not be turned off. In a short period of time, most people on earth realize the bigger picture. Now, this goes into what we're experiencing now. The financial system, as we have once known it, is being turned on its head. Most people will be celebrating once they understand the full scale of what is happening. In other words, don't freak out. Things are changing, guys. Indeed, it is a celebration as the unmasking continues. Be patient, be kind, be ready for the ride of your lives. Whoa.
Hey, we got one time before. Hold on to your seats.
Yes, it's going to be a roller coaster ride. I mean, we just
Yeah.
all of that stuff. It's still getting that. So evidently, it's a lot more to come. But hang in there, guys. Be patient, be kind, help one another. Don't freak out.
Yeah. Heavy on
So-
the don't freak out.
Exactly. Yeah, it's all going to be wonderful. All right, please share.
Okay, here's my insight. Today is when the earth stands still. The clouds are passing as the great storm has run her course. Be aware of how mankind expresses the effects as they relate on a personal basis. For some, the winds howled and the earth shook, while for others, a gentle breeze blew and the sand squished up between their toes. Oh, what a difference perspective and circumstances makes. What a difference we all perceive from the vantage point of our own shoes. Take the time to learn from nature while standing still or actively participating in your day. For truly, both standing still and actively participating are one and the same. Always remember that the symbol for chaos is so intricately filled with order that it is difficult to take it in. The further the magnification for it goes, the more detail is displayed. It is, in fact, divine order, called by a shallow name, chaos. As this coming season of spring ushers in new growth, let us look at ourselves with renewed grace, strength, and purpose as we see the strides forward that we ourselves have made. Today, the earth stands still, actively participating in what looks like a chaotic swirling of the galaxy, a galaxy filled with divine order. So when it all looks like it's a mess, back up a little bit and look at the bigger picture and you see how everything is moving together.
Now, you mentioned a couple times about the earth standing still. Can you explain more of why that came forth?
No. You knew I was going to say that.
Huh?
But
Yeah.
you know what, we hear that a lot about, well, if you just be still and take it in, be still and know that I am, um, that stillness, there is no such thing as being totally stopped, because if you were totally stopped in time and space, totally non-moving, that would be against the grain of all that is, and there would be
Not possible.
yeah, there would be, it's like Bev said, it's impossible. No, even when we are in that stillness, we are still in extreme movement, because we are on this planet, which is moving. We
Mhm.
are within a solar system, which is moving, within a galaxy that is swirling, and the galaxy moving through the universe. There is no such thing as that absolute stillness, but we still our minds, and therefore we open our hearts and our minds together,
Mhm.
and we see the bigger picture. So we
There you
are
go.
actively participating.
Thank you. I love the explanation because it's easy to understand. All right. Even though we've been on a little over half an hour, early on I mentioned about the merging timelines and lifetimes, because it did come up in the last few days about, uh, and we have talked about this before, but it comes up, and somebody has an issue, and a physical issue, for instance. It's like, okay, what's causing that? And um, I just explain what happened to this person.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that a person had an issue with their hands, and it's like, okay, why are you in pain? What's that stemming from? Blah blah blah. And you can use your consciousness, which I do, to help stem any illness or pain, in the physical body.
Yeah, to rectify the situation.
Mhm. So did that, and then it was like, okay, what else is going on here? And so it took, uh, the road turned a little different than I expected. And I can use those terms. And that is, it's this person ended up, and I could see why the hands hurt as she was being pulled up onto a platform or something. Okay. And so it can hurt the hands. Okay. So because of the force. And it took another turn, much like the movie Avatar. I mean, where this person then all of a sudden realized another aspect of themselves, and that wasn't humanoid, but not human as we know it. Okay, so 3 fingers, for instance, and very loving being. I could tell that, and then the hands were involved in this other aspect of that person. Now you can call it a timeline too. And so you can see how it's merged, that other aspect has merged into the current aspect, and that the other aspect, the not the one that wasn't human as we know it, okay, assisted the current incarnation. And so with the hands and the pain, then the I'm not quite sure what happened, but the pain is almost basically gone, almost gone, and how this being would other aspect would assist the current aspect of itself. So really kind
Yeah,
of
so that it really opens your mind to thinking about how we look at reality, time and space, um, incarnations, reincarnation, all of that, how it all works together. And
Mhm.
that's why uh, when we uh, traverse a little bit more spiritual path, a common denominator of everybody is to
Mhm.
try to get rid of their issues, to deal with the things that are bothering them, so that they don't take it on further with them. So they don't, like come back into another incarnation, maybe the next time, and they've got that same issue because it was never dealt with.
Mhm.
So it's like looking at forgiveness through different eyes, you know, learning how to forgive ourselves and to deal with our own problems, to try to resolve things so that we're not passing it along to others, we're not taking it further down the line to another time frame to ourselves. So it's kind of crazy, isn't it?
So it could be from the future, it could be from the past, and then we also, even in these bodies, assist other beings, which could be ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We are you. Shoot, learn that in my books. Like, even though there's, some of these information was so advanced from what I've personally experienced, but they said we are you. I'm like, well, because we are in all this together, we all are creator. So there's it's like, oh, the ways of looking at all of this is just it's pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, that creative force is, there's no way to put a lid on it. It runs throughout everything.
Yeah. I think we would use that term, put a lid on it. Ha, not me,
No, I
not
don't
me,
think
not
so.
me. Oh yeah, you. So, all right. Well, thank you all for joining us today. And, a lot was brought up. And any information that any of you have, please do speak up. Please do share because we do like that. And, it's even though some of this information may have seemed a little far out, so be it. That's the way it is.
Welcome to our world.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't think we're that crazy.
No, we're not crazy at all.
Even though I'll just say it, I've been called batshit crazy. So whatever. So when I was told that, I laughed. So it's like,
Oh, I've
okay.
been called a lot of things too. Can't say them.
I did. So, all right. Thank you. Any questions that anybody has listening? And if not,
We
say last
are.
words.
Excuse me.
Go ahead.
Okay, we are in the Passover and Easter season, so and I'm sure there are other religions that have other names that go with their religious observances too. So we're all on this beautiful planet together, and let us think of each other across the span of what could possibly divide us, because the only thing that can truly divide us is our own thoughts. There is nothing else that can divide us. So let us think of each other more kindly, and uh, just put that passion back into our thoughts on what a privilege it is to live here on the planet Earth. What I was able to help take care of a doggie for a couple of days, a neighbor's dog, and I tell you what, to look into her eyes and to see how deeply she looked back into mine, she was looking into my soul, and that was usually something that people accused me of doing, and I was like, oh wow, this is that meeting of soul to soul, and we get to do that here on this beautiful planet. And won't it be a wonderful day when we all realize that depth of our souls, looking into each other's eyes without the barriers of any kind. So may you truly have a beautiful holiday season, holy day season, no matter what it is.
I'll add to talking about looking in another's eyes and seeing the love that's in another person. It's always in there, and some people it's kind of hard to see it.
It gets covered up by other things.
Yeah, but look deeply and send them love, send them that higher energy, and sometimes they just like melt, you know, and if they don't, then
Try not to have strings attached.
So don't let that affect you negatively, and just wish them well and go on. That's their journey, and you go on your journey. So all right, thank you very much. We love you all. Those of you celebrating Easter, enjoy. I will have an Easter egg hunt for my actually only five of my grandchildren coming over, so it's always a big deal because a big garden out back, and so some fun things to do, and it's just have fun, enjoy life. Come on, guys, it's a lot of division type things going on out there, and it's as early in my what I got was like not me. Yeah, you want to bet? So it's like enjoy it all. Come on, and then just let go of all that heaviness, and see life in a little brighter way, because it changes the world.
Yeah, with everything, at least in our neck of the woods in the southeast United States, it is beautifully green right now. All these flowers popping out everywhere, and it's when you can see that and hear the birds sing and just feel the gentle breeze, and oh man, it lifts your soul if you'll just allow yourself to just drift into it. So please enjoy your time here. It's precious.
It is. Thank you. All right. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Thank you all for joining us. We love you all.
Yes, we love you very much. Thank you for staying.
All right. And good day.
Bye.